Crisscross applesauce sitting on my concrete front stoop. I unrolled a roly poly. Two pieces of flesh neatly broken in half, still and lifeless in my 8-year-old hands. I said, I am so sorry. I just wanted to play. And I knew that sorry didn't matter, and I saw that it was permanent. And I came to understand that I couldn't protect anything that I loved, not even from myself. But Freddie was always there, Freddie the cat. And in the morning when I'd make my bed, somehow she'd stealthily get up under the covers without disturbing anything. So she'd just be a little lump when I got home. And I hugged her so much, I carried her around like a doll baby, that she would automatically hug who picked her up. And she had the most beautiful fur. She was a tortoiseshell with this rich brown sable fur that was lit from within with a kind of garnet red and gold and white flecks that looked like sunlight dappling through leaves. And I believed, although I did not have the words at 8 years old, that cats were angels incarnate, that Freddie was my guardian angel, the way that my grandmother spoke about cardinals. We had white and green linoleum in one of our rented homes, and it was so cold on my feet in the morning that I would run to the kitchen table. And one morning in particular, my mother came to sit down with me as I ate my cereal. And the light was so bright through the kitchen window that I could see she had a black eye under her makeup. When mom was done with a man, I knew it because she'd say, you got to sleep sometime, motherfucker. She wasn't one to mince words. But she never said that to her third husband, who was her husband then and is her husband now. Mom still says that love is either a luxury or a sacrifice. And she could not afford luxury. And I can tell you she had nothing left to sacrifice. But she did teach me how to season a cast iron skillet. And she taught me how to sight in my granddaddy's 12 gauge. And she gave me $1 the first time I got in a fight. She gave this country girl every tool I needed to survive, better than she had, and better than her mother, who was an Appalachian child bride who gave birth to her at age 13. I had legions of animals. I wasn't much for playing with toys because I wanted to be outside. So I was always in the creek, bringing home turtles and frogs and snakes. And then, of course, any stray that crossed my path, cats and dogs or whatever. Some poor mom would come home and just shoo them all out. Except for Freddie, she'd stay in. She knew where her bread was buttered. But at night, I'd go and stand on the porch and call out into the darkness, fearful and wanting them to come home, even though they didn't know that was their home. It was to me. We still had phones tethered to the wall back then. And I remember my mom, there were so many of us. She'd have a Merit Ultralight in one hand, a Diet Pepsi in front of her, and she'd try to be talking on the phone, but we were all causing trouble. And so she'd put the phone on her shoulder and snap, Tina, Carl, Mikey, JD, whatever the fuck your name is, stop it. And usually we bust out laughing. Sometimes we got in trouble, but usually it was just funny. I do that with my cats now. Today I live in the woods on a mountain in a tiny little cottage with 8 cats and 8 bookshelves that reach all the way to the ceiling, and an art studio, and I'm safe, and I'm under my own power. And in the spring, everything's blanketed with bluebells and trillium and lady slippers. People come here just to hunt for them. But we don't tell the tourists where they are. I still keep my cast iron skillet seasoned and my guns oiled. And I know the lines of sight on my property. I almost set out a welcome mat once, but that would have been a lie.